So, have you, yes or no, played one card poker?
No, never.
No. I'm about to rock your world.
All right.
All right, so one card poker is a simple game. In fact, it's the most simple version of poker that you can play, in that you will make every single choice. You will actually shuffle and cut absolutely everything. And at the end, and you can even decide if we switch cards, you can even decide if we burn some cards, you can decide who gets what card, and you will shuffle and cut everything before all of those things happen. And after all of that, we get one card each, and whoever has the highest card is a winner. It literally could not be more simple. I created this game with the idea in mind of the people in England that I've got so many ways of playing poker with people. I like playing poker so much that I go like, you play poker? And they go, no. And I go, because there's so much cool stuff I want to show them with poker. So this is one card poker. It could not be more easy. Hold the cards in your hand like you're going to play cards.
Okay.
And then cut off a very small packet face down on the table for me. Good. And then you'll do 3 more, so you have 4 in total, using up all of the cards. So them here, 3 more, 4 in total, using up all of the cards. Perfect. You can increment them in size, or you can make them random. It's fine. So we kind of got like a weird stepping stone thing, but that's good. It's your choice. Pick up the first group, keep them face down, and give them a shuffle.
Shuffle.
Yes, please. And one more. Set them down. Shuffle this one. Good, and then you'll do this one and this one. What's important is that whilst you shuffle, you know that you really are shuffling those in any way that you like. If you want to do riffles or pharaohs, or I'd never say that to a normal person, but you're welcome to. What's important though is that he really is going for it. Good.
Yeah.
Last night, some guy said, all right, and he cut 6 packets, and I was like, okay, cool. So you've really shuffled these as much as you want, and what's important is that you understand at this moment, we just pause for a second, and you understand that you really have shuffled those in a way that you wanted, and I've not nudged you or made you shuffle them in a certain way, or by peeling off, or anything like that. It's really important.
True,
magician to magician.
Yeah.
So pick up this group.
Okay.
On top of here, and then gather up as you go across. So that now 2 statements are true. You really have shuffled and you really have cut the deck. Really important.
Yeah.
You now get to make every single choice. His eyes are lighted up. Every single choice is for you, right? So this first card, whatever it is it for you or is it for me?
For me.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. Good choice. Goes right there. The next card, is it for me, or if you want, you can switch it with yours.
I'll switch it with mine.
Remember, this happened.
Yeah. All right.
So this now becomes mine by proxy, but I won't look at it. It'll stay there, and it's there on the mat. The next card, if you like, you can switch it with yours again. If you want, you can switch it with mine, which is the one that you switched because you didn't want it. Or, as you do in cards, right, we can burn it. We can just get rid of it. It's up to you.
I want to switch it with yours.
Remember, this happened, right?
Okay.
You're just making up your own rules. Look, you're switching it with mine. Boom. This one is now out the game. We're going to burn it.
Yeah.
But have you had that thing in life where you have 2 options, right? You choose one thing, and then in hindsight, you kind of wish you'd chosen the other thing. So in a moment, you know what you could have had. I'll place this into the deck facing the wrong way. And that's it. You've made every single choice. You've shuffled, you've cut. You've actually switched a bunch. Most people don't switch that much, but I like that. Have a look at your card, but I will not look at mine. Just have a peek at your card, poker style.
Okay.
Good. You have one more choice to make, and this could change everything. The choice is whether aces are high or whether they're low. Because if you've dealt me an ace by chance, and you now say aces are low, you take me from a position of winning to being maybe the loser in the game. Because it's all about who has the highest card. So aces high or low, up to you.
High.
High. Show all of us, what do you have? What was the next? And what was the one you didn't want?
That's crazy.
That's one card poker. Yeah, it's fun, right? I enjoy this so much.
G'day, champion. How you doing? Welcome back to Murphy's Magic Saturday Sorcery. I'm, of course, your host, Beau Creamer. Now, today, Chris Rawlins, the one, the only, the OG himself, is back to teach you an awesome 1-card poker effect. But before we get into that tutorial, I do want to tell you about this week's giveaway. If you want a chance to win the Gambling Magic Bundle, stick around till later on in the episode and I'll show you how to enter that giveaway. Now, this effect you're about to learn is from Chris's At the Table lecture. His second At the Table lecture, to be exact. If you want to see more on this awesome lecture, there's a link in the description below right now where you can check it out. Now, I know why you're here. You want to learn that 1-card poker effect. You're saying, Beau, stop flapping your gums and let's see the tutorial. So, my friend, here it is. Oh, look at these absolute champions. You guys are the best. It's true. I've Googled it.
I shuffled.
Yeah, you really did shuffle. There's only 4 aces. You don't add them on. You do everything. It's the easiest card trick I've ever thought of. And I enjoy it so much because it's so hands-off that you can just really enjoy performing it and having that kind of back and forth with the person about making all the choices. There's a few things about it that are kind of deceptive and you don't realize, I think, maybe after the fact you would, which is that
I can't, right now my brain is like a little melted.
Yeah, right. So, but what starts off as a claim of like a game of one card poker actually shifts in effect. So it's actually a production of 4 cards. It can be a force of any 4 cards that you like. But in this case, it's 4 aces. So it kind of has that game feel, so it's kind of fun and playful. But at the same time, at the end, you have this surprising ending because it shifts. Because if at the end it was like you have a 10 and I've got a 7, and I went, no, you win. Then you'd be like, that was a waste of my time. so it has to have that kick at the end to be exciting, right? It has to have that. This is very much just a magic trick, right? But it has the framing of a game and it has a surprise. So that's why I like it. Also, it's all done by you. I have to do something, but I'm not palming, I'm not loading on, I'm not stealing, I'm not stripping out, I'm not doing any of that. So what that means is I can really focus on just having that fun back and forth with you. And this always has the same structure. So it will always end with you with an ace, me with an ace, one reversed and one on top. Always, every single time, even though you're really shuffling, you really cut. So let me talk about exactly how this is happening.
Okay.
So one card poker is, I really like it. So, and also what I like to do at the end is to really show you this is the same. It's not the same deck we used for pseudo. I lied, and I'll tell you why. But it's actually still marked for pseudo. It's another deck marked for pseudo. And this actually nicely brings us in. I'm actually using the crimp here. It's a different deck, but 6 clubs. To do something at the beginning that makes it a little more deceptive as well. So the situation is these 4 aces are marked. They're marked not in the same way as pseudo. And normally, I wouldn't have a deck marked up for pseudo and one card poker, if I'm being honest. I normally would just have them marked. In a normal deck, I mark the aces, and then I will mark the 6 of clubs, which is at the bottom now, and I will also crimp that.
Okay.
And that's the prep that I do to every deck that I use. Sometimes I'll do pseudo and I'll mark those. But if I know I'm going to do pseudo, I'll just grab one of the many decks that anyway. But normal day-to-day basis, it's very easy to crimp a card that we've already talked about and to just do a little mark on the aces.
And it'll be that negative crimp, right?
The negative crimp, same crimp. Okay. So it cuts to the bottom because you don't want to end up with it on top because it'll get in the way. So all I'm doing here is with a pen that writes in like white ink. And it's not, it's like, I'm trying to think of the exact make. It begins with a P and it's got like a colourful.
I have them. I can't remember them.
They're like chalk almost markers, and they make really big ones. Not chalk. They're like paint markers. That's the word I was looking for, not chalk. And they make these really small ones. And then these really big ones that I went to use for stage, but they actually splatter everywhere, and I was terrified of getting on my nice suits. So I didn't ever use them. I just bought them and never used them. But I found that they make a really little one, and it's kind of the same as those edding pens that write in white, in that you shake up the cap, and the tip is actually felt on this one. Okay. You have to press it down, it soaks the ink in. Now we're just talking about stationery, this is weird. But it writes. Find a pen that writes in white ink. If not, use an X-Acto knife and scratch it in. But you can see here that I've just added like an extra little bird to the side of the angel, right? And it's on both sides, so that if it's rotated, it will always be there.
Yeah, can we show that?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's right there, and then right there.
What also works really well is, again, if you're using a red deck, you can just get red Sharpie and dot the center. Or what I used to do is to dot the middle of this flower, and the pseudo mark wouldn't be there. And if you want, you can do it on all 4. So at least on the aces, they all look symmetrical. So for one card poker, let's take a look again at these big cards. Or if you're a giant, the normal size cards. These are actually, so there's one here for contrast, and of course they've got the pseudo mark on, but ignore that, that's in red. So what I've done here is mark with a white pen. This is just a pen like this. It's like a Tipex pen, I'd call it in the UK, but it's for correcting mistakes usually on paper. But it just adds white to the card. So what I've done is add if you look here to the left of the angel on the bicycle, where those little birds are, I've just added an extra line, but it's in white. So rather than colouring in, you're adding colour.
Have you seen last week's free tutorial yet? Make sure you do. Card on screen right now, or the link is in the description. Make sure you check it out. It's an absolute feast for the eyes, and it's completely free. Go treat yourself. Now, I am so sorry. I need to interrupt for just a wee second because I want to find out who won last episode's bundle. So, let me read your mind. Oh, yeah, you were thinking of the same winner as well. Congratulations, champion. You're the winner of last episode's bundle. So if you could DM me on any of Murphy's socials, I'll get that prize out to you quicker. You can say, hey, Beau, was that what I was really thinking? That's just between you and me, baby. That's just between you and me. Now on to this week's giveaway. If you want a chance to win the Gambling Magic Bundle, all you need to do is comment in the comment section below. If you could force any 4 cards to the deck, what would it be? Would it be the aces as well? Would it be the kings? Would it be a mixture of cards? Whatever it is, let me know in the comment section below. I'll choose someone out at random and you'll be announced on next episode of Saturday Sorcery. So, good luck. Now, champion, are you enjoying what you're watching right now? Because I have good news for you. In the Saturday Sorcery playlist, we have over 100 episodes, which means over 100 free tutorials. So make sure you go check out that playlist. There'll be a link in the description below. Go treat yourself to all that free magic. Because you deserve it.
And then also the same is true for if we rotate, it's again here, so they're always on the right hand side. So there's one here and one on this side, but that allows you to spin the card. And just so you can see what that looks like compared to one that has no mark on for the ace for 1-card poker, that's your comparison.
Okay.
But any mark is fine, literally any mark at all. Just something that you can see. I can see that very clearly from here, and something that you can absolutely see without question. So don't go so subtle that you're really struggling to tell if it's an ace. I've done this by like dog-earing all the aces in a borrowed deck before. That works okay. I've done it with other ways of marking the cards, but this is the way that I always come back to.
Okay.
So these 4 aces are marked. They begin in any order, it doesn't matter, on top of the deck.
Yeah.
I'm actually then cutting this into middle. So at the beginning, so by cutting to the crimp, they're now here. But at the beginning, I can run off just a few cards, and I'm not shuffling past where the crimp is or where the aces are. Then I can throw over. And now whilst looking at you and not looking at the deck, I can cut and set the deck down. And this now means the aces are on top at the beginning. But it's totally fine to just start with them on top because they're going to shuffle everything anyway. So there are a few things at play, aside from everything I've talked about so far. The main thing is a cut by, it's the J.O. false cut, which looks like this. Which doesn't do anything, but it is such a deceptive false cut. And many other people have realized this over the time. You can have a spectator do it because it's so easy. It's cut off someplace from here, then here, then here, then gather up. The weird thing about this cut is if I'll just get rid of the aces so I don't slow down the explanation. But if you actually do this for real, it would actually look like this. That's actually cutting the deck, but that actually looks like you're putting them back where they started.
Yeah.
So the real version of this cut looks false and the false version looks real. It's really weird, but that's why it's so great. So I'm beginning with them on top of the deck. And this is kind of how I solve the gather up. So they begin here. I'll turn them face up for this explanation, right? That'll be a smart way of teaching this. I never teach this trick. So, so this is like one of my magician getters at the Ruskin or something. I don't know. Maybe not anymore now. It's on here. I don't know. But I really, really, really like this trick a lot. So it starts on top of the deck, all 4 of them.
Okay.
And I ask you to so hold onto the deck. I say hold them in your hands like you're going to play cards, just so that they have them all contained. Because the worst thing that can happen right now is they drop the cards everywhere, and then you either just leave them on the floor, which is probably what I'd do. You do something. You go 1-card poker. You lost your chance. We're going to do something else. But you don't want that to happen. And now I point down to the table because I want you to place them here and go across this way, because then the gather up makes more sense rather than it feels weird. From my side, I'm just so used to my brain doing it this way, it'd be weird to go to gather up this way. And the last thing you want to have is tell them to gather up in the wrong way so that they really cut the deck and lose the aces, because then you're in trouble, right? Then you got to do some Ben Earl stuff that we all can't do. Or some Steve Forte madness of really popping out the aces. So I ask you, this is a language and it's important. And the big part to this method is like, I am actually kind of nudging you to do what I want you to do, but not in a way that is like, it's not like unlikely to happen. It will happen every single time, because what I say is I want you to cut off a very small packet face down on the table over here. So I'm telling you what to do and where to put it, and then you do that. Perfect.
That's good.
That's fine. But so very small packet is going to be about this. Some people give you loads of them, but that's also fine. We'll cover all that in a second.
Okay.
But I'll go through the basic version, then we'll talk about the details, or the extra details. So a very small packet. Then I say, and you'll do, so this feels like I've done an instruction and I'm pausing to explain what will happen next. It's almost like this is an example of what you're about to do. Okay. So it doesn't feel too weird, I don't think. So very small packet down here, good. Now you'll do 3 more, so you have 4 in total. I always do the fingers, right? People aren't stupid, but I want to really make it clear. Do 3 more, 4 in total, and you use up all of the cards, the entirety of the deck. So cut them into 3 more groups. And then at this point, when they start cutting, just to cover the quietness, I say like, and you can make them incrementally bigger or random sizes, or good, we've got like a kind of smaller here, bigger, smaller, bigger, fine, up to you. So pick up the first group, you do. And then I say, and give them a shuffle. Keep them face down, but give them a shuffle. So do that, and then stop. What happens now is they're either perfectly on the bottom, or they're near the bottom with a few cards in between, depending on how you shuffle. Most likely is that they are now at the bottom, maybe with 1 card beneath or a few cards above. Very unlikely is a couple of cards in between. And it's at this point that I say, good, and give them 1 more. And now you bring them back to the top and set them down. This is perfect. We'll talk about what happens in a sec. And now it doesn't matter how you shuffle these or these or these. I don't care because the aces aren't there. And I say pick up this group. I don't call this the first packet anymore because if I do, they might link that back to what happened that you cut this off first, right? So pick up this group on top of here and gather up as you go across. And I mime that action so that they gather up in the right way. And then we square up the deck. Even though you really did shuffle, what's happened now is there's 1 card on top of the aces, which we can burn. And then we're in the same position we were. In the performance just then, it happens, I'm not joking, I'm going to make up a statistic because they're all made up, but 60% of the time you end up in this situation, which is like a dream. You don't know that you're in this situation until you do each ace because they're only marked on the back and you can see 1 at a time. But if this was to happen, when we gather up and I move the cards to the center like this, I can see that's not an ace. So I'd say, so what we'll do to begin with is to burn a card. So I'd burn 1, and as I take this off, I can see if this is an ace or not. In this case, it would be. Good, so you've shuffled, you've cut, we've even burnt a card, now you'll make every single choice, and now we're good to go. So now, remember the shift in effect we now know about, right? We know it ends with 4 aces, but they don't know that. So all of this switching and stuff is completely irrelevant, but it feels like it's important. And by the time you've got past all of that, they don't remember that I said to cut off a very small packet, and because you still really shuffled and it feels like you cut, it doesn't make any difference, and it feels like there's no way that you could control any of those cards, when in truth, you could control more than 4 back up to the top. So now it's, do you want this one or I want this one? This one was for you. Do you want to switch this with yours? This one becomes mine. You want to switch this one with mine. This one gets burnt. Last one stays on top. So the structure is always, this first card, is it for you or is it for me? Whatever they choose is fine. The next one, same option. Is it for you or is it, do we switch it with yours or do we switch it with mine, depending on what they choose first? Or do I have it? They choose that. The next one is always the same. So I always say, have you had that thing? Do you want to switch it with yours or mine? Or we can burn it. They usually say at that point, I want to burn it because it feels like another choice they get to make. And then if you even look at this, I'm giving them the option, do you want to burn a card? And if they go, yeah, then I'm not even really burning it because all I'm doing is reversing it. Yeah. So it's like they get a choice, but they don't really get a choice, which is the whole kind of vibe of this trick. But you want to burn it, great. Have you had that thing in life? And this little bit of wording, it's just a little bit of script, makes it sound like it has a purpose, right? You have that thing where you choose something, and then with hindsight, you kind of wish you'd chosen the other thing, and everyone goes like, yeah, I've had that. So you go, okay, so in a moment, you know what you could have had, and obviously this would be face down. I pick up the deck and I place the card in like this so we don't see it's an ace. That's obviously because of that saying. So that's now in there. And then you have the final choice of ace is high or low, makes no difference. They always say high. I've had maybe 5 people, probably doing this about 1,000 times now, 5 people maybe 10 have said aces are low. And then I just think like, are you stupid? But if they say that, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so then they have this real good look on their face most of the time. You get 2 types of people with this routine, which is either the person that they go like, aces are high. And you go, what do you have? And they go like, yeah. You get that, or you get the guy that knows what's coming somehow and goes like, oh, yeah. And they look at you like, huh? But they don't, if they see this coming, they don't see this or this coming, which is cool. So, and then you had to, like, I've not looked at mine, oh, this is here. What was the next one? Kind of out of curiosity, this goes here. And I like the little picture that's left at the end here, that you kind of break this, leave this here. And I always like to then turn these face up because they probably want to look and see if there's any other races in there. So the important thing here is if you're watching this and you've never done this trick, or you're going like, okay, maybe you were fooled by it, maybe not. But if you were, you might be thinking, oh, it's all well and good, but this at the moment might sound a bit like a method that is really good some of the time, and some of the time is you have to kind of freestyle. What's good about this is that the structure is always there of who gets what. Do you want to switch that thing where you wish you'd chosen the other thing, and then goes in the wrong way so you know what you could have had, and then the last one stays on top. You will always get, whenever you get to each ace, that's the order that you do it in. So that sequence never changes. The only thing that can change, only variable, is how many cards might be in between those aces. And sometimes that will be, let's leave them face up. Sometimes you'll end up with a group of cards like this on top of the aces. Sometimes you'll end up with some cards in between the aces. like maybe a few, a bunch. It can be kind of chaotic, but it's never going to be worse than like, let's do like, it's hard to even like engineer we'll have you really shuffle in a second, we'll do it. Say this is like the worst example, because remember the packet they cut off is only, there we go, that would be a terrible one, but it would still be totally fine. The packet they cut off is only going to be small. So in this case, I would go, so, okay, you shuffled, you've cut, we'll burn some cards to begin with. And I might say, we'll burn some cards because I don't know how many are there at this point. I can't see through the deck, right? So take this, I see there's not an ace there. Part of me dies inside, but you have to carry on, right? So this goes in. Then I'd burn another one. I go, boom. As I'm taking this off, I see this next one's an ace. And then I go, good, look. Now I can reframe that. We burnt 2 cards. That's one for each of us, right? This first card, and now it all makes sense. It feels logical. If it's more than 2, you just don't say that bit. It's fine. Don't feel any guilt with it. Just do it, right? Yeah. So they get this choice. And then you go, right, we'll burn one more. Good. This next one now, after we burn, is it for you? Is it for me? Good. Burn another one here. This is what I do in this case. Just tell me when to stop at some point.
Oh, okay, stop.
You're happy here?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Then if that's what you want, that's what you want. And it's like, it's almost like a timing force, but it's not, because I don't know when the ace is going to come up, but you just kind of get to the ace as you peel off the one that's above it, and you go, and you just say stop whenever you like. And then you just go like, oh God, just stop, because they just don't care. You know, they don't care in the sense of they feel like if it felt shifty, I think they'd be like, no, carry on.
It feels free. It feels like you don't care. So yeah.
Exactly. And so then we're back in this situation, then this one would get reversed. And then at the end, if this is the situation, this is literally the worst it can be, and it's still fantastic like this, is we'll burn a few more. You want one more, or?
Yeah, that's it. That's good.
Okay, that's good. Fine. And like that's exactly what I do. Like you just have to get to those aces, and you do whatever you need to do it.
Got it.
But I guarantee you, more often than not, I would say over 60% at least of the time, they're going to be together, or the very, very worst is like a couple of cards on top. And that's fine, because you burn a couple, but then when you get to the choices, you don't have to burn anymore. So,
so that moment when you tell me to shuffle, you remind me, that's the key moment.
That is the key moment. And I watch your shuffle very carefully for the first packet. So I see them go bop, bop, bop to the bottom. And then you were about to, it's like some people want to carry on, but it's like you do that and one more. And then they bring them back up to top. If they start, like there really are some times where people, they shuffle and then they already carry on. And at that point, I'll just give up and go like, shuffle as much as you like, because they're going to do that anyway, and they're marked. So I know I can get to those aces, so I don't care how much you shuffle at that point. But if I can, I want to have them to the bottom, then back up to top, or as close to top as I can. So the only way to kind of simulate this in a way that's fair to everyone watching, that they know that you're not just like being nice, is to have you simulate this, but you'll do it in a second with your eyes closed when you shuffle, so that you know you're not on purpose. And we'll do the worst outcome, right? So imagine they don't shuffle to bottom for whatever reason. Imagine they start like hopping and popping with cards. Okay. And then they like decide to do a pharaoh, and then they for some reason start doing like, blah, 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 and it gets really messy, right? Let's simulate that. Okay. So we can see the worst possible outcome. Okay. So cut off a small packet, and we won't do all 4 packets because, and say, so
I want to do more now.
Yeah, okay, more's good. So so let's imagine the rest is here. So we've got more cards there. This is fine though. So with your eyes closed, give them a shuffle. Let's imagine I say shuffle the cards and you just don't stop. So I don't get to do the bringing them back up to the top. So close your eyes, look at the camera so that your eyes are closed, and just really shuffle those as much as you like in your hand. And this will simulate the worst possible version of this. Like, and carry on for as long as you like. Okay. Excuse me for sniffling there.
All right, I think that should be good.
Okay, good. And now imagine we've done the gather up. Yeah. And look at that, there's an ace. So this first card, is it for you or is it for me? Up to you. What do you want? Doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, we'll burn some here like this. One for each of us. The next one, is it for you or is it for me?
For you.
Good, it's for me. Do the same again. Just say stop as I go through.
Stop.
I know they're face up in this case, but they're just going to go, oh God, stop. Was I going to do that? And I go, okay, good. Change, whatever. One gets reversed. And then we're there. Like, that's it, yeah. And the shuffling can't get more chaotic than that, because you weren't even looking, you were just shuffling up. So you just have to kind of freestyle it, but you're freestyling amongst a structure that never changes, which is who gets the first one, who gets the second one, do you want to switch, do we burn it, and then the last one just stays on top. And remember, when you get to that last one, you don't have to go past it, you just have to get to that one. And the kind of timing force thing it's not a timing force, because you'd have to know where the card is, and it's not like psychic stop from expert card technique. It's just because I don't know where those aces are, it's just a case of I just carry on until it's there. And I don't know where I first did it, but I had a situation where there was at least a bunch, maybe 3, 4, 5 cards on top of the ace, and I was thinking in my head, like, let's simulate that. So I was thinking, like, oh God, just say stop. And like, if they like, even if this happened, there's an ace there, I'd just be like, okay, well, and I'd just leave it sticking out. Like, there's so many options with it, but you're always going to get to the point where they have one, you have one, there's one reversed, and there's one still on top. And just make sure you reverse it in a way that they don't see what it is. And then, and then you get this nice thing at the end. There's a couple of other things with this that are not linked to, so we've covered that that's the method, that's how it happens. This can be anything you like. Okay, cool. So there is another version of this that I really like, and I'll just show it to you really quickly. We'll go through the same process, but we'll just kind of bullet point through it. So imagine I've shuffled a little bit already. Take the deck, cut off a very small packet face down on the table. Very good. 3 more, use up all of the deck. We're going to play one card poker. You've heard all of this already. Pick up the first group before we give it a shuffle. And it's good, it's fine. Also, give them another shuffle if you want. A thing to remember here is, bear in mind you've already seen the performance, so you'd be saying the same stuff. It's all about one card poker. Set them down and then imagine you shuffle those to save a bit of time. You gather up. So we're going to play one card poker. Whoever gets the highest card is the winner. That's literally the aim of the game, but you'll make every single choice. You'll choose who gets what card. If we switch cards, if we burn cards, it will all be up to you. And again, that was a good illustration of the language. That's what I was going to say. The very small packet is so specific in language that it really makes people, most of the time, cut off a very small packet. And then you're fine. If you cut off what looks like 5, 6 cards, I don't care how you shuffle them, because worst case is going to be 2 cards between 4 aces, so it can't be bad in any way. So that's really the key. And if they cut off tons, you can either think like, I would just like the challenge of that and think like, yeah, okay. But if you're scared of that, you can just be like, no, some less, you need to do 4, but I want to try and not put those restrictions on people. So all of that being said, the first card, is it for you or is it for me?
For me.
For you, okay, good choice. The next one, is it for me or do we switch it with yours?
Let's switch it with mine.
Okay, remember this happened. Switch it with yours. It becomes mine kind of by accident, by proxy. We'll burn one. The next one, do we switch it with yours or switch it with mine? Or if you like, we can burn it.
Let's burn it.
Let's burn it, okay. Have you had that thing before? Blah, 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 blah. Goes in facing the wrong way. So have a look at your card. And the final choices are aces high or low.
High. Well, yeah.
High?
High, yeah.
What do you have? Show me. 8. Oh, look at that, I beat you. What was the next out of interest? Almost. What was the one that you... Oh, wow. Did you mean to do this?
No.
No? This is amazing. You didn't mean to do this?
No.
You had like a look of fear in your eyes when you saw it was an 8, right? You thought like, oh God, he's messed up. No, you've done something amazing without realizing. What is the date? Let me check. It's the 18th, right? This would be the 18th, 2019.
Nice.
So like, it's a stupid version of it, but it's kind of fun. So this should hopefully get you thinking about, this could be a date of birth, this could be a PIN number, this could be any other stuff. So again, like disguising it as a game that ends in this a kind of sidestep surprise of like, I didn't know if, because you actually get to choose what goes where, and in this case it matters, you can mark, I just literally added a bit of black Sharpie so I could see which 4 cards we were going for here. And obviously black Sharpie isn't ideal, but there's so many other marks on these cards, I thought black would be a choice in that moment. However, you can mark them in a way so that you know what order they come out in, because then if by chance they're in the perfect order, you then don't have to rearrange them. But I quite like that, you might lose, there is the 8, there it is, you might lose, and then I might win, and that feels like, well, wasting my time. Was the next one? It was an ace. And the one you could have had a 9. Oh no, this is amazing. And then they're going like, what? No, it's not. What are you talking about? So I really like this version of it. It's kind of a bit silly, but I like it a lot.
Yeah, well, you can personalize also 2 numbers that mean something to them.
Yeah.
You somehow figured out.
It could also be like a birthday would be perfect. Yeah. You can find that on Facebook. I don't know why I said Facebook so weird then. Facebook, Instagram, it's very easy to find those things out. You can also have them write down their birthday and peek it somehow or know it somehow with your favorite peek wallet or going into an envelope or any kind of technique with a folded or not folded piece of card or paper, which is a whole different lecture. So I like that version of it. It could also be date of birth, I've already said, and then PIN number's a cool one in that you can just have them write the PIN number down and same thing. But it's fun. I've honestly got loads of stuff with this now that I can't talk about here because I haven't got time. Maybe I'll come back one day and talk about it. But yeah, start thinking about what else you can force, because it is just a force of 4 cards framed as a game. I have to mention some people here, which is obviously the false cut, the Osei false cut. It also, I think the surprise element definitely comes from Chad Long's shuffling lesson, which is an amazing thing. Also uses the same, well, some of the same ideas with the cutting sequence. Chad's amazing, and that trick is amazing, and this is a very different effect and method as well. But shuffling lesson is definitely one of the inspirations behind this. And then also Ben Earl has some interesting work in the Less is More book about. I don't want to say too much because if you've not read the book, then I don't want to tip anything.
Cutting to the aces and stuff.
Yeah, they're cutting to the aces, but also like stock controls and other things. So all of those people combined with my genuine obsession with poker deals and poker and games and also just like this is a hands-off card trick, and it's not, you can't go and work this in a strolling situation if you're a card guy, because it's hell, because you need table space and you need to be able to talk to them and all of that. But it is a great sitting in a coffee shop style trick, or it's a great one to show your mates. It's a great one to do for other magicians. So.
Yeah. And the premise is really good too.
Yeah,
it's
I think
let's play a one card poker.
It's unthreatening, you know. So you've reminded me there, good man. There's one final thing I will talk about that is a method change, which is if you have the 4 aces, like this, you can actually, she's got $1 bills here, they're not really ideal.
I have a 10.
I think, no, this is okay. So it's very possible, put one like this, very good. Okay, it's completely possible to have these with the aces underneath, to have them shuffle everything, so you can shuffle everything. To bring this out, to say we're going to play a game of 1-card poker. The concept is very simple. I will in fact wager a little bit of cash, not too much. It's only $5-6. It goes down here. We'll play 1-card poker. They've literally slipped off, but you get the idea. 1-card poker, etc., etc., etc. Or you can load up from under the box. Or my actual preference is this isn't. I'll talk about what this is later. This is just a wallet, but a very good option here, which I'll try and do more properly, excuse me, is to just have them under your wallet, to bring your wallet out, to reach inside, take out a stack of money or bills, and then set this down on here, move the deck. In fact, you can keep hold of this for a second. We'll play 1-card poker. The idea is very simple. The game is very simple. We'll get 1 card each, and now this is on top. The temptation now, though, if you load these on, is to just go straight into is this one for you, is this one for me? You can't, I don't think you can do that. You have to then still do the shuffling. Even though you shuffled already, they will, I think if you go from them shuffling and you add on, unless you're Steve Forte or Joe Barry or Michael Weber or something, unless you're one of those like killer guys, you will not be able to load the cards on in such a way that is so deceptive they won't think it was a possibility. They might not see it, but they might still. I think if you go straight into the choosing of who gets what, there is too little for them to backtrack, and they might get back to the idea that somehow they ended up on top. Whereas having them break them into groups and then shuffle everything and apparently cut means that at the start of the thing they're going like, well, there's no way he knows where anything is because I've really shuffled. And you make such a big point of like, what's really important is you understand that you're shuffling how you like. It's not true, but And that brings me back, before I shut up about this trick, is one, that's my money, and two, that I should have, if I'd known I was going to talk about that, I would have had like a stack of hundreds in there and looked really cool. But the reality is, I don't walk around with cash, so there we go. Anyway, so the thing that brings me back to this is the changes when you shuffle this packet. It's obviously quite guided. Like I say, shuffle them, give them one more, because I'm trying to get those back up to the top in a relatively subtle way. But then you reframe that. So after the second packet, really, I say, and you can shuffle however you like. To magicians, you can say, you can faro, you can riffle if you want. It's weird, but do whatever you like. So that by the time you've shuffled all 4, you've shuffled these 2 at least really freely. So it kind of feels, it seems less important with this one. It kind of gets forgotten. So all of that being said, that's 1-card poker. I like it a lot. I think it's really fun. And I just recommend you go out and try it and play around with it. And you'll be like, you'll love doing it, I think. It's one of those, like, it's really good fun to do because it's like stress-free. There's no slights. The add-on thing is a nice idea, but honestly, I just do it the way I showed you at the very beginning, which is to cut to the crimp, give them to you, and have you do everything. And I'm reading the marks as I'm squaring up, as I'm taking a card. It just couldn't be easier. As long as you've got eyes and one hand, you can do the tricks.
It looks also, like you said, super fun to perform, because every time you get to the end, it's like, you can consider it as, now we're going to play, right? So this is the moment where you get to play. And so usually that would be the moment where people would be kind of like, oh, I don't know, what should I do? But if you think about it as like, it's a game, which it is a game, and you give off that feeling, they will consider it as a game and everything goes, and then the ending will be.
And also the framing of a game starts off with some people that will register as like, oh, well, he's obviously going to win, and they're going to feel like not so into it. So what's nice about it is the surprise at the end of the 4 aces. It shifts that effect, not just from like method-wise what's happening, but it gives that nice surprise of that they like realise, like, oh, this wasn't about someone winning. It was just like, and then I think it just makes it all feel like a positive thing at the end, rather than like, ha ha ha, I beat you, because that, you know, that is good and has its place. But yeah, anyway, I really like this a lot, and now we don't need the cards anymore.
Now, thank you so much, Chris, you absolute legend. If you want to see more of Chris's work, there'll be a link in the description below right now to a plethora of his releases and also his social media. And also, if you want to see more on this At the Table lecture and his previous At the Table lecture, make sure you check out the links in the description below where you can go check them out. They're absolutely mind-blowing, and there's so much incredible magic and mentalism in them. Now, my best friend in the whole entire world, go on, get out of here, go enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'll see you tomorrow on a full performance on our Discord for our weekly jams, trivia games, hangouts, and even more, or next Tuesday for a special episode of What's New This Week. That's right, it's a day early because we'll get some exciting things to talk about. So, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care. See you later. Bye for now. Whoa, hey, what's that? Oh, you should definitely check out that. Oh, there's so much good magic in there. You won't regret it. Hey, whoa, hey, look at this bad boy. You should definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe, then watch that. Oh, it's a good day to treat yourself.